Okay, we've been talking about how on this stage you see, all kinds of voices. You've seen an actor and a soldier together. You've seen a village entrepreneur. You've seen a teacher. You have seen, corporate leaders. And our next panel brings three very, very different women from three completely different walks of life, united by that verve, that energy, that charisma that keeps them going and keeps them climbing the ladder of a success that they've chosen for themselves. I want to welcome on stage, and I'll tell you a little bit about the three women and then ask them to come out. Hardika Shah actually works in fintech, creating inclusive access for those who don't have it, small businesses. Ruchira Jetli is the Chief Marketing Officer at Diageo. She shapes cultures, brands, communication. And Divya Datta is an actor, a national award-winning actor, who has forged her path in this industry on her own terms. In fact, all these three women are fiercely individual and yet I think united by this one streak of fierce individualism. So can we please put our hands together to welcome Hardika, Ruchira and Divya on stage. And I think we can be a little more generous with our applause. Thank you. I know you want to clap a little more, right? Hello. Nice to meet in person. Please. Can we welcome them with a big round of applause? Thank you.
How are you?
I am really enjoying this day. We've spoken to a serving soldier. We've spoken to Sanya, who's sitting right there.
I just saw all the sessions.
Yeah, we've spoken to an entrepreneur who comes from a small village in Uttarakhand, and she calls herself Namakwali because she started a business in salt. We've spoken to an extraordinary teacher who just won the best teacher of the world. So I'm having a great day. I'm loving it. And now I'm going to talk to all three of you, and that's going to be fabulous. So in no particular order, let me start with you, Divya. How tough has it been to be you?
I love that question, and it has to come from you, Barkha. I guess, it takes a while to, first of all, fit into the entire scenario when you come from out.
Just hold it up a bit,
Yeah, so when you come from out, I guess, to find your own niche, to find your own kind of people, you try to be like them.
Yeah.
It's a process. You just want to say, okay, I will fit in. And then you get into any place with any person, you make your mistakes, you fall down, you get up again because you want it so badly. And then I guess somewhere you find yourself. When you look into the mirror, you're happy saying, this is the kind of role I wanted to do and I'm doing it. I said so many no's to these roles and then I finally said yes to this one. And there were so many probable actors to be cast for a certain thing. But I did something special that I got selected for that. And then when you look into the mirror, you do feel, and the kind of love that you get from the audience, you do feel कि कहीं कुछ तो सही किया होगा यार. Something must be right. And then I guess you say it was tough being me because I have changed. My mother used to say, "Tu badal gayi ekdam se." Not my core. My core remains the same. I'm still that innocent person. I still am a child at heart. Lekin to deal with the world, as you just said, to be thick-skinned, you're learning that. It's not easy. It's not easy at all to be thick-skinned when you are very sensitive, and that is your plus point as an actor and as a person.
Yeah.
I guess you're more sensitive to things, and you absorb them that way. But now...
I always say you have to have a thick-skinned exterior but a molten heart, because you can't tell good stories if you're hardened inside.
Absolutely. And I must say from this place that I have loved and inspired from where you come from, what you stand for.
Thank you.
And so yeah, to answer your question, it was difficult. Gradually, I think I fell in love with myself.
More on that in a moment, but that's wonderful, isn't it? And it takes a journey sometimes.
Absolutely.
And, you know, Hardika, we've been talking all morning about how to keep walking, and that phrase can mean different things. It can mean falling and getting up and walking. It can mean moving in a totally different direction from what was planned. Sanya was on stage just now, and she said she wants to go back to the classroom and start studying again. There was somebody here who said, I wanted to be a soldier. It's really about dreams. You try and make other people's dreams come true. You provide access to capital. How tough has it been for you to get to this point?
Well, it's been 15 years of, unflinching devotion, discipline, and commitment. And it has taken an unexpected turn. So just to give a little bit of context to what you're saying, I built Kinara Capital. It was to provide unsecured business loans to MSMEs. We talk a lot about the MSMEs in this country, and yet they have been fairly excluded. So this is all around financial inclusion. However, what was built over 15 years unraveled in 15 weeks. I hit a liquidity crisis some months back. Investors stepped off. Lenders were not funding anymore, and all of a sudden, I'm now faced with having to look at this business and look at myself as to how to get past it. I'll tell you, liquidity crisis sounds clinical. It is actually deeply personal. You get calls and WhatsApp messages at 5 a.m. and harassment and threats, and you have to really look at yourself and say, what do I do to keep still or keep growing or even keep moving, which is the theme of today. And really, it has taught me a lot. I've had to dig deep. I have had to grieve privately, but to step in and be, and absorb the emotional cost of the chaos. And one of the things, since you asked what that means for me, what I learned through this was that it wasn't about optimism, because it's by far such chaos. It really was about, will I recognize myself on the other side of this?
Yeah.
And will I respect me for what I'm going to do now in this
so
worst moment?
Same as Divya mentioned, that when you look at yourself in the mirror, are you comfortable in your own skin? Was there a moment when you weren't?
Well, in the middle of the chaos, it is so easy to say, I'm going to just, bail. Yeah. I'm going to take off, right? And we are here talking about with women, so I'll be honest, right? If a man goes through this, it's business risk. If a woman has to go through this, it's a referendum of your capability. You are tested for everything. Yeah. What decisions you made, why, how, what tone you're taking, how, every single thing is dissected. And yet, you have to decide in that moment, what will you do? And that's what it took, is to say, I am going to stand here and figure this out and resolve, whatever that resolution looks like, to basically be on the other side and respect myself.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, but let me firstly thank you for sharing. And I know that these moments can feel deeply lonely. I think we've all been there. The wonderful thing about growing older is that you care less and less about how you're seen through the eyes of others. Ruchira, let me bring you in. What has been the toughest thing about getting to this point? I mean, you have this big corporate title, you're all sort of doyens of your fields, but it hasn't been easy for anybody. What has been the toughest thing in just telling yourself, I've got to keep going, I've got to keep walking?
First of all, thank you, Divya. Thanks so much, Hardika. I mean, I really, listening to both of you, it is just so compelling. Yeah. To your question on what's the toughest thing, it's never a singular moment.
Yeah.
I think all of us have been through so many things. Everyone here in this room has been through so many things. It's never a singular moment. It is really about saying, finally it comes down to choices. Did you make the right choice in that moment? And what did that say about you? And where did that take you? And then to what Divya just said, right? I mean, she said, looking at yourself in the mirror and you say, you're suddenly the person that you wanted to be.
Yeah.
I think it's warts and all, like they say, right? It's all those years later when you turn around and say, if I might, F it. You know, this is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, this is who I am, a sum of it all. I think the one thing that is the toughest piece is when it's a referendum. When you said that, Hardika, it's a referendum on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I've heard a lot from a lot of women where it turns to a very personal nature very quickly.
Yeah.
And it's difficult sometimes to keep that your innate balance on who you are. We've all been through these moments. We've all been through moments maybe when we made the wrong decision.
Yeah, yeah,
Big
yeah.
deal, right? So I think that's the piece. It's choices. So when you look at it and say, the best part, and if everyone asks me about what keeps you going,
Yeah.
and that's what I tell everyone, just resilience, just hang in there.
Yeah.
This too shall pass. And the principal of my convent school used to say, we were all terrified of her, but she used to say, tomorrow is the first day of the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And every morning you've got to wake up and, remind yourself of that. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Could change everything today. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Firstly, there's a certain kind of authenticity and candor that comes from lived life, which I think the cumulative lived life on this stage between the four of us is, we've seen a lot. Divya, you said that for a while you forgot who you were because you were so busy trying to fit in. Whose approval were you seeking at that point? And how did you just say, F it, if I may borrow Ruchira's motto for the day?
I guess everyone's approval, but mine. It was like, that was the time when I came in, was a time of multi-starrers. And also I had come against the will of everyone at home except for my mom. So I had taken a huge decision and I couldn't go wrong. It was a choice I had made. And I had to prove that I wasn't wrong. Because I think also with resilience, what's required is that sheer bloody passion you have for what you do, and uske liye you will do anything. Matlab agar mujhe 4 saal aur nikalne hain, I will.
Yeah.
I'll wait.
Yeah.
If I did a Veer Zara, I was flooded with offers, Barkha. It wasn't that there was any dearth of work, but that's not the work I want to do. I want to wait. I want to do something different. I want to excite myself, and hence my audience is going to get excited. And I waited a year and a half for Dilli 6 to happen to me. And everyone thought I was foolish and stupid, not taking those, big banners and money and that acclaim that comes with it. But I'm, to date, 30 years in this career, I have been very excited on every set because that's the choice I make. And it's been, of course, very difficult, but you somewhere find your own. I mean, you get very comfortable in your skin gradually. You get that confidence. I used to feel I'm not good enough when I would go on the set because I see these tall, pretty girls and I would just hide behind and say, listen, somebody's going to say she's petite, but a little this and little that. But when you become a character,
You forget all that.
that character gives you so much power, strength, confidence. And then I have seen, inevitably, when I go on a set, people see me differently. I mean, used to, not anymore. They'll say hi. If I'm saying hi, they'll say hi. But when you've given a shot and you've given it crazily well, they'll look back and say, hi, my name is this. So the whole impact is changing. So I know it's beautiful to not just hide behind those characters, but to make them your own.
But you know what? It's also, let's face it, it's also exhausting.
Of course it's exhausting, but then you need to take those breaks. You need to know your body saying, thak gaya yaar, abhi ruk jao. I'm tired of smiling to people. I'm tired of saying, listen, I deserve that role better than that one. Back off. And then they will come. Your work will come. Something will come. There's also divine timing, but you work hard for it. But yes, you find your grieving. You find your... I went to a very tough time when I lost my mom. Then I had a breakup. And then I was like, I don't have any motivation to do what I want to do. But then you get up. वो कहते हैं ना कि गिरते हैं शहसवारी मैदाने जंग में वो तिफल क्या गिरें जो घुटनों के बल चलें तो उठिए क्योंकि गिरना तो है ही. We have to fall down. Yeah, life was never meant to be this. It is going to be this. So I have fallen so many times. But when I look back, I say, what a fall. It was fun.
That's so true, Hardika. We look back at even our mistakes, upward choices, with a certain degree of amusement, because when you have enough distance, you're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? Who was I? What happened to me? Why did I do that? But more seriously, you spoke so openly about that crash and that referendum on your capability, on you. I think women go through that all the time. If there's something you've learned from that journey that you think you could today say, you know what, I know nobody listens, people have to make their own mistakes, but if there's something you would want to tell everybody who's listening to this, what would it be?
I think maybe I would say three things.
Yeah.
One is to give yourself permission to grieve, because there is a lot of grief. I mean, I built something for 15 years. We dispersed $1 billion. We impacted 1 million lives. We did many things, and all of a sudden, you're faced with this crisis. And in that crisis, you're outwardly trying to solve, operationally moving forward, but internally, you're heartbroken. And so, one, giving myself permission to cry, to grieve, to let it go through, even physically go through your body, if you will, is one thing that that I would like to pass it on, just because we are expected to be all these things in every moment, and we need to give ourselves that one time, right? Second thing is this bit about resilience. I like what you were talking about, resilience. I would add to that and say with responsibility, because you need to do that with that, taking your part, your ownership, your responsibility for it. And then lastly, which is, about holding on to a piece of that. For me, the piece was, look, titles will come and go, institutions will come and go, legacies will come and go, will get cancelled, who knows, right? What is left is you. And for me, what was left is I've built something, I can build it again. And to hold on to that one value that is yours, to know that you can come back and build it again.
Would you agree with that? Or would you feel that it takes so much out of you that these are things we tell ourselves, be kind to yourself, allow yourself time to grieve. But when you're actually, Ruchira, in that moment and something isn't going right for you, none of us are sage and wise and calm, or I don't know if none of us are, I'm not. And then and you're just like constantly having performance anxiety. Like, am I going to be good enough? And it doesn't matter how many awards sit on your shelf, how many accolades come, how much applause come. You wake up every day and you say, will I be good enough today? Does that happen to you?
All the time.
Yeah.
And
so what is that?
regardless-
Is that women? Is that type A personality? What is it?
It's both.
Yeah.
According to me. I think we are where we are as people because we are that personality where we want to wake up and do things every day.
Yeah.
And when we're not doing it, there's this thing that gnaws at you.
Yeah.
So all my life, I remember Sunday evenings. I used to hate Sunday evenings because I knew Monday morning would be school.
Yeah.
And then I stopped working, and I'd hate Monday mornings because I had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
And I'd be looking through my phone and saying, who do I have coffee with this week?
Yeah.
Right? And it was almost this was this new performance anxiety about, what am I doing to fill up my calendar? Because I'd better do something, right? So I think it's both. I think with women in particular, I hate playing gender cards. I am the product of a very liberal upbringing, of fantastic parents, lots of opportunities. So I can't say that I came from a lot of struggle to be where I was. But I do believe with women, the choices we make hit us a little bit harder. I could have been home looking after a kid. I could have been there more for a parent who was sick. We're the sandwich generation. There's always something you're giving up on. Some friends who will tell you about how you're always absent. A spouse who will tell you you're never there for those big dinners. So it's stuff like that comes at you a lot. So I think that makes the trade-offs even sharper. So to your point on grieving, it is a loss when you lose it because you invest so much of your personal capital and your emotional capital into it. It's tough. So, but I think you should, what I like about something like this, Barkha, is that we can talk about it.
Yeah.
We can share it so that when I listen to other people who talk about these things, about your experiences, it makes me go home and say, you know what? I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm not a weirdo.
I'm not weird. I'm not like a psycho. I'm not
Yeah.
like people go around and saying like being a driven woman is like almost sometimes a bad thing. And you look at them and say, yeah, but it's who I am now. Do I not love myself as a consequence of that? I don't know. I want it all. So do I have to be ashamed? I mean, do I have to apologize for that?
Not at all, but this business of having it all and gender card, I want to bring that to you, Hardika. Two things. Indra Nooyi tells this story. It is now the stuff of lore that she got this big promotion at Pepsi and she came back and she told her mom, Mom, I've got this big promotion. And mom said, yeah, that's all fine, but you forgot to bring the milk home. Now, she told the story actually as a funny story. I found it a really sad story because she was saying, my mother keeps me grounded. Great. That's good. That's the happy part of the story. The uncomfortable part of that story is, why isn't the parent rewarding the professional ambition of her daughter? The gender card is a tough one. If you'd asked me, I don't know, even today, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, we had a soldier on stage, Major Swati, and she said, the army the uniform doesn't recognize your gender. I would never want to be known as a woman journalist. I just want to be known as a great journalist. That's it. It is different for us. It is tougher for us. We need to work 10 times harder to get to the same place. We'll be judged 15 times more when we get there. Is that your experience?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think maybe this is generational. I'm hoping that, younger
women don't have to go through this?
Well, it's...
Sanya, we're going through the same? Yeah?
Well, maybe then, at least... Maybe, Barkha, for you and me, it must have been, at least for me, it was a lot more blatant. I'm sure it was for you.
Absolutely.
And maybe what we have to pass on to the younger generation is that it's subtle, perhaps for you, because I see it in a different way that feels that it is not there, but it's very much there. We are judged, dissected far more for every decision, indecision, action, inaction, whatever it may be. And that is where, we talk about performance anxiety, it really just plays on you, right? You are already pushing so much harder to be in a position. You are standing largely in financial services, a lot more men, right? You go to one of these conferences, you will see hardly any women in the audience. And so you're already feeling excluded but included in a bizarre way, and yet you have to prove yourself over and over and over again, and recognizing that, and again charting your own path in and out of it.
May I jump in on this, please?
Please do.
I'll tell you, I feel really strongly about this. Okay, I work in an industry that is super male dominated. Yeah, I work in an industry that typically behaves like it talks only to men, which is again all rubbish. But yeah, that's one part of it. I love the fact that I can set the agenda. So when I think of everything that I can do, whether it's the advertising, whether it's progressive portrayals, investing on progressive media and platforms like this, right? For me, that's what gives me energy, that I can change the narrative. And somewhere, that's what I have learned over many years. If you're going to wait for someone else to do it, keep waiting. It'll happen, but it'll happen at whatever pace and time.
Yeah.
Look at what you did with Delhi crime.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, my bad.
Delhi 6.
Delhi 6.
Yeah.
My bad. That's what I meant. Right? You took charge of the narrative that you wanted to put out. It wasn't like you were waiting for someone to discover that you could be that person alone, right? I truly believe that, and apologies, I am really bad with names and with this, but the larger point is, you took charge of your narrative. And that's going to be a much larger story than a crisis that you will tide over and come back on. And Barkha, likewise for you. I really feel like it is incumbent on us to write the stories we want to tell, regardless of the stage, how big. You could be a really phenomenal teacher. You talked about that.
Yeah.
I've had the best people in my life have been the women teachers in my life. So I really think so, and I feel very strongly about it.
No, I agree with that. Divya, do you want to come in on that you can't? You said there were many roles that came your way and you could have taken them and you didn't. But you do have to set your own path. Nobody is going to come and drop something. We've all learned that the hard way, have we not?
Absolutely. But today, when I look back in hindsight, it just feels, I'm glad I didn't take the highway.
Why?
Because when I came in, it was like, are you romancing the hero? I said, in this particular film, no. So then, but still, I'm the takeaway of the film. So where do we categorize her? But she's not the heroine, but she has a role better than the heroine. What do you call her? Today, those are the roles that are being made. And everyone wants to do those roles. But when I came in, it's always that first one or those few people who come in who have to face the ire of this.
But can I ask you, and then I'd actually love to hear a cross-generational moment from Sanya, because I think this point was made about, like, has it changed? But can I ask you,
Please.
national awards, accolades, applause for your talent, so much respect, and yet are you boxed in? This whole idea of she's an art house actor, she's an alag kisam ki, she's, you know what I'm saying?
I know,
like,
I know.
Do those stereotypes follow you?
But not just for art house. They try following, but that's the thing I love doing. There's no dearth of work for anyone. It's the choices that you make. So if somebody says, listen, you were so good in so and so, I want to cast you in that.
Yeah.
I said, I don't want to do it. Because you have no creativity of your own. You're not seeing me in any other thing.
Yeah.
So I feel there are two kind of directors, one who set examples, one who follow them. I don't want to be working with the followers. I want to be working with people who see me differently.
Yeah.
So I just felt like there was a Rakesh Mehra who thought that I could do a Delhi 6. I said, hello sir, I'm a Punjaban, I'm a Chulbula person, the whole world is offering me Veer Zara type of roles, why are you offering me Delhi 6? He said, because I think you're a good actor, you can carry it. Then when I did Delhi 6,
Yeah.
I was offered all kinds of sensuous roles. I was like, this is a fun game, then let's just do it. Then I became the best sister with Bhag Milkha Bhag. I
Yeah.
said, okay, let's break that now. Then I did Badlapur.
Yeah.
So I like that, and I don't like being caged into anything now.
May I ask you, and I'll then open it up for other questions also, I can get you a mic. May I ask you to talk about this intergenerational sort of point that Hardika made? Is it different today? Do we have a camera on Sanya before I ask her to speak? If you can confirm
Yeah,
that.
it's there.
Otherwise, yeah, okay, there is there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, yeah.
I know where the camera is.
That's why I said thank you to you for.
So, sorry, can you repeat the question?
I'm saying there was this conversation about has it changed down the generations, and I heard you sort of saying no, it's
Yeah, it has, but as you said that it's subtle. It's not out there in front of us, but it's subtle, for sure. I have worked with women director, and I see that they get treated differently. And that I get so livid when that happens. They have to change the tone or act differently to be taken seriously. And it makes me so angry, and I see it happening in front of my eyes, and I get so like agitated. I feel like
And then what do?
I be mean to such people. I be very honest. Otherwise, I'm a very nice person, but if I see someone being mean to a woman, I cannot be nice to them. I cannot.
But there's a psyche there is, that if you're really sweet and nice, please kar denge. And I'll say, haan ji, kar dete
Yeah,
hain. But
they-
when you like become like a little,
Yeah.
guy, or you just say,
Yeah, you
okay,
have to
kar do.
act differently to be taken seriously, and to please, to be honest, you were the only one I remember from Delhi 6. Mujhe mard bana do, mujhe mard bana do. It stayed in my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, what a performance. Veer Zara, wow, what a performance. You are right. I used to come back. I used to watch these films and come back with you. You are amazing.
So are you, darling.
Thank you.
That's a lovely moment. Thank you. That's why we do what we do, so that we can have these conversations across generations, across professions. I did see hands go up at the back. Yes, ma'am. Here. Yes. Yeah. Sorry, I can't hear you. Can we have the mic on, please? Just hold it. It's okay. Just hold it. It's okay.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Great. Good evening, fabulous conversation. And Barkha, on the onset, thank you for creating this safe space. You mentioned right in the beginning, really feeling that one.
Thank you.
I think it's said that you can't have your cake and eat it too. Why there is a trade-off all the time? I see this, if you do this, you will face the consequence. If you do this, you will.
Have you been through that?
Yes.
What do you do? You didn't tell us.
Well, currently I'm leading HR for one of the IT organization. And on a personal front, I lead a NGO Mahir, where I'm working on SDG goal number 3, 4, and 13 related to climate action.
Yeah.
And there's always a trade-off. And just wanted to understand, how do we take it?
It's a great question on this trade-off, and I didn't explore this. You can't have it all. Women can't have it all. But you know, when you look at our ads, I find those ads really irritating. So they'll be like this, some perfectly manicured woman. She will be closing $1 billion deal. The sunlight, dapple sunlight will be coming in through these French windows. She will be, you know, signing, I don't know, big checks, and then a phone call will come from home, aaj khane mein kya banana hai, and she'll also be able to say, aaj matar paneer banao, and she's supposed to be this superwoman, and we romance this as if this is what we have to be, everything to everybody. How have all three of you navigated that? When did you say, I'm not going to be everything to everybody? Hardika, let's start with you.
I think maybe I'll use this cake analogy. I think you can have your cake and eat it too, not all at the same time or in the same bite. So you have to make those choices also.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, when you're focusing on that $1 billion check, that's your focus, and
Correct.
everything else pushes back.
Correct.
And then if there's a crisis at home and somebody needs to be looked after, then that's your focus, and you have to shift. So that's how I've done it, is just put something in focus, figure out where the camera is, you know, on what I do, and then move from there.
Anyone else wants to take the idea that you can't have it all? Can anyone have it all?
Of course you can have it all. Why should we live with the thing that I can't have it all? If there are some kind of, like she's saying, some kind of things that you have to face, then so be it, yeah. Because if you really want it, you want it. And yes, you have to prioritize yourself. It's very, very important.
What would you say to Asanya's generation? How do you keep going?
I think she's absolutely brilliant with what she does.
She is brilliant.
No, but what I'm saying
she was here and said that it took her years before she let go of an imposter syndrome. She struggled with doing interviews. She felt she didn't deserve what she was getting. I know so many women who, I don't know why. I don't know.
I still feel it after 30 years. That when you come on the stage is when you own it. Before that, you sometimes have that self-doubt. But theek hai na, why are we always putting ourselves in that thing ki, arey, self-analysis karo, self-criticize karo.
Chhod do, maze karo.
Chhod do na yaar, theek hai. Matlab, we are human, galtiyan karo na, phir kya hua? That's okay.
I love that. Ruchira, last thought before we close?
I think having it all is a bit of a myth. And the reason I say that is because I don't think men have it all either.
Correct.
You know, I don't think it's one of those things where if you're killing yourself. I have friends, male friends in consulting, out Monday to Friday. They don't know their children. They're not there for their parents. They feel the guilt as sharply. I think the difference is women in India in particular, and maybe more Eastern societies, we do have traditional roles that we want to also put off, you know, one foot there, one foot here, and that can sometimes create a lot of conflict in your head. I think I love what you said, Hardika. You can have it all, but not maybe all at the same time, for one. For the second is, I do believe women's career journeys and personal journeys will be at conflict. Don't ever apologize. I mean, it's very tough when you're making those choices, but don't apologize about it. Because life is going to be bloody long. So if you ask me what I would say for the next generation, you're going to be living till 90 and 100. What's the hurry? Take your time, take the scenic route, enjoy it, and you know, come back.
You want to respond quickly?
I just want to say something that when you are doing well, and you kind of try to compensate in the other fields, and you underplay yourselves. I think most of the women do that. You do it, no problem. I'll take a back seat. Okay, I will cook. I'll come. I'll do this. I'll do this. You somewhere forget yourselves. I think now, after so many years. I was, in fact, Shabana ji is coming here. There was a beautiful quote that Javed Saab had said, that don't be apologetic about who you are and what you've gained and what you've achieved. So, yes, that's my achievement. मैंने बड़ी मुश्किल से लिया, उसके लिए मैं क्यों apologize करूँ कि I'm sorry, I'm a little ऊपर आपसे इस चीज़ में, लेकिन मैं underplay कर रही हूँ, नहीं कर रही underplay. We will not do that.
Absolutely. We should wear our achievement on our sleeves. This has been an incredible conversation. Let's have a big round of applause for our wonderful three guests. I'm afraid there's only me expressing my admiration for all three of you. May I have the awards on the stage, please? Thank you. Thank you. Could we please have a big, big round of applause? This has been a lovely conversation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Let's show them some love, guys. Come on. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're here, I guess. I hope. Okay. All right. The two women I'm going to invite on my stage now, some of you may be familiar with their podcast. The one really irritating label that I know that Divya, Hardika and Ruchira and I did not talk about is the first time somebody calls